everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Jumbish, Me and the Master. A very welcome to our panelists today as well as our audience. Jumbish has lined up a great number of very talented artists to present to you for the rest of the season. Our questions today will help you gain a little insight of the art world as well as the lives and works of our panel artists. Today, here with you all, your host Rahul Chakraborty, a traveler, artist, and co founder of Jumbish. Before we start with this episode, I would like to take a second to talk about Jumbish. It is a company that collaborates creativity and technology together and opens up earning opportunity for artists. We have launched one kind of a microchip called Jumbish Digital Authentication Tag, JDAT, that provides hassle-free authentication and provenance management of artworks. Jumbish Me and the Master is a Jumbish Creations effort that strives to highlight the multifaceted nature of the art industry. It has been a fantastic opportunity to us and for me to host some kind of the industry's top achievers as well as some up and comers. Today, we have with us Stella Canfield as a master artist. Stella was born in Varna, Bulgaria. She graduated from the Academy of Sports in Sofia with master's degree in teaching. In 1998, Stella opened her own gallery in the town of Covell, Washington, USA. In 2000, she founded the Stellar Arts Foundation, an educational and charitable non-profit organization dedicated to helping orphaned children in Bulgaria. Today, Stella teaches watercolor, juries, participates in exhibits initiated by art organizations in the US, Europe, and Asia. She has received many international awards for her work. Her paintings are in several private, corporate, and museums in America, Europe, and all over the world. So I'm welcoming Stella for this show. So welcome, Stella.
Thank you very much, Rahul. It's a delight to be here and I'm honored to be invited. Thank you very much and wonderful to see you.
Thank you. Stella is a very good friend of mine. It is something would be a very interesting here to get him as a guest panelist. So welcome again. Now we have with us Pranjit. Pranjit, as a professional artist, has joined today from Bangalore. Pranjit is an assistant lecturer at the Department of Art, Design and Science from Indian Institute of Fashion and Animation, Bangalore. He completed his master's in visual arts and graphic arts, that is in printmaking, from Bangalore University in the year of 2018. He has participated in numerous exhibitions, conferences, both in India, overseas, including Vietnam, Hong Kong, Ukraine, Italy, Romania, the United Kingdom, and others. Pranjit has also had pieces written about his work featured in a variety of publications. Hello, Pranjit. Welcome to Jumbish Me and Master.
Thank you so much, Rahul, for having me here. Thanks a lot.
Our upcoming artist for today is Antara from Kolkata. Antara is a sculptor who is currently employed at Amber Valley Residential School in Chikmagalur as a senior school art teacher. Her sculptures are made of concrete and he employs life-size zinc plates. She also created the stage for TEDx in 2018, which took place in MS University, Baroda. Antara has had a number of exhibitions in India. How are you, Antara? Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Rahul. I'm really happy to be here. It's a wonderful opportunity to be with all of you here.
Thank you. Thank you all for taking the time out and joining us the show. Before we start the segments, I just talk about how it has been divided. It will start with art and career. Then your views matter. Third, we will go for a rapid fire round, a kind of fun session, and we'll end up with brief your artwork. I would like to remind our viewers that they can post their questions in the comment section. Write down your question, please, and don't forget to include the name of the panelist to whom you are addressing it. They will surely get back to you. So let's begin with another episode of season 2. Let's start with art and career. We say nothing in life is permanent. And in order to keep growing, it's important to get out of your comfort zones. That is very, very vital. And challenges ourselves as well as pressure our pursue, not pressure, it's a pursuit of our dreams. So Stella, you were a sports person for almost 30 years in your life. What drew you to a career as an artist, and what made you change your professional field? Stella, please.
1, 2, 3. This is a very long story, Rahul. I have to make it very short. We escaped from communistic Bulgaria in 1980 and lived in Germany for 5 years, where my diploma, sports letter, was immediately recognized. But working as a teacher with accent in a school of Germany was unheard in 1980. So I could never get a job. So I decided I'm out of here. That is not the place where I like to be free. So I went to United States in 1985, where I applied for my diploma to be recognized. It wasn't. 3 instances existed at that time. They all said, too bad, we don't know anything about Bulgaria. And here from Germany, we cannot recognize that. So at that time, I just landed at the right place and obviously at the right moment for me, where there was an art center on the island north from Seattle. And I went to volunteer. And I was in heaven. And one day I said, I will learn watercolor. And across from me was a lady. And she says, why one day? Why not on Monday? She was teaching at the senior center. I was 30-something years old. Oh, I said, senior art center. So it was like a job. I said, I'm coming. And that's how I started. And I couldn't stop. It was just like anything in my life. It just happened.
Wonderful. It shows that you were not at all afraid or scared of taking risk in your life. It is from 1980s the journey has started, and till date you are so vibrant and so kind to the industry. Thank you, Stella, for your wonderful answer. Let's move to our professional artist, Pranjit. Pranjit, was there that one moment in your life that made you realize that the art was your calling, or did your love for art grow over the years? How would you put it?
Well, I would like to say it has started from my around 7th standard. That time I realized that I actually born for this particular subject instead of going through with science and everything, because I am very bad in that particular like science or maths, this kind of things, and my family, they are actually pushing me to go through with that things. But my brother, he actually helped me out of these things, that he realized that no, he is only made for the art. And I used to draw a lot of things, and I actually got a lot of scold from my mom, during that time, because instead of like I have my book, and then, in between that, I took the pages and I used to draw from my own. So they thought that he is just going to lose his actually time, and then he's not going to be good in his study. And finally, my brother actually supported me a lot, and they made them realized, and no, we need to support. And that's how I met a lot of good actually like gurus in my life, the teachers. And throughout my journey, I felt now that like Antara journey is so actually like mesmerizing for me. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yes, Pranjit, we can understand that in our traditional life and in Indian culture, it is always from the parents that you have to go through kind of very structured uh,
Exactly, exactly.
career,
Yeah,
and those are the artists. They have almost a common kind of incidents happen in their
correct.
life. It is somehow similar to me. Anyway, we are moving towards to our Antara, who is our upcoming artist. Antara, you specialize in sculptures, right? Did you always want to be a sculptor, and what made you choose to this specific field, Antara?
So,
Yes.
Rahul, actually, when I joined my bachelor's, I was not even sure that even I'm going to take fine arts or not. So, deciding for sculpture was a way far thing for me. So, I mean, it was very accidental, I might say, because I just I once just visited the art college, and there they were distributing forms and all. So I just appeared for the examination just like that. I just wanted to, and then I felt that somehow okay. I just felt interested with the kind of box they were assigning to the students who were applying for sculpture. So I just applied there, and I got through. So that is how I became a sculptor. But then, of course, over the time, I started falling in love with the kinds of materials I was introduced to. And, in sculpture, there is so much tactile quality in the materials and the way you deal with materials. There is a lot of involvement. Related to the process of it. There are extensive processes of making sculptures, and that was really fascinating for me. Each step, each on one side it is a visual art piece, so you have those parameters of aesthetics, you have all your thoughts, ideas. At the same time, you will have to put all of them together in a way that it is feasible technically, because sculpture involves lot of technicalities in it. So all these things together, and in a way, over the time, I kind of started realizing that here it builds a different kind of connection between the technicality, the material, and your thoughts. All come together and build a visual language. The material itself becomes part of a visual language that speaks a lot, and that was a very interesting part for me. And that really, I mean, I keep on falling in love with that.
Wonderful. So exciting and inspirational. Artists like you, those are having a kind of non-art background and coming with a lot of hope and a lot of freedom to work with. So great to see you here, Antara. So before I go to the next segment, I have seen one quote is written over in the place of Stella, that is written that a creative maze is better than tidy creativeness. So it is something like this. Yeah, so this is something always we all believe in that. And with that note, we are going to the next one, next segment. So asking our upcoming artist, Antara, what are your thoughts on art forgery?
So about art forgery, the first thing I would like to say is artwork is all about its originality. Why somebody would like to look at artworks, why it is so amazing, why it is priceless, because of its originality, because it is one and only original expression of that artist. Now, art forgery, makes a disturbance in that core aspect of art, and that is one of the main problem that art forgery would cause. Now, if you look at the art market, I personally feel there are certain parameters in that market that might lead us towards this. I mean, that might open these allays for fake art or art forgery. Like, say, in an artwork, what we look for, I mean, what are the key attributes that we can assign to an artwork? It's authenticity, it's authorship, its aesthetic value, its significance. Now, in a market like art market, where there is so much of in a lot of cases there's so much of secrecy in the buying and selling process, in which the information about the provenance of an artwork gets lost. and that is a very major aspect, which leads towards, I mean, which somehow contributes to this art forgery. So I kind of feel that this secrecy in buying and selling, there is no transparency of information. If you look at any other markets,
Please unmute yourself, Antara. Yes, you are audible. Yes. Now
yes, am I audible now?
you are audible. Put your video on.
Yes. Should I start from the beginning or?
1, 2, 3, just start.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. So about art forgery, when I will talk, there is an important aspect. I mean, about art, it is all about its originality, because it is one and only original expression of an artist. That is why it is priceless. But art forgery brings a big problem in that core aspect. So if we look at the art market, the way art market runs, unlike any other market, like if we if I want to buy a mobile, I have a plenty of informations, reliable informations available in hand with me. So as a consumer, I will be able to decide for myself whether I want to buy it or not, whether it is worth paying this amount or not. I am individually able to, independently able to decide for that. But in case of art market, looking at the core attributes of one artwork, like its authorship or authenticity, its aesthetic value, its significance, all these parameters does not have any inherent value that would make you able to set a appraisal for this, right? So here lies a problem. Now this the art market, the buying and selling process in art market has a lot of secrecy in it, and due to that secrecy, we miss out on a lot of informations regarding provenance, and that again leads to this misuse of lot of informations and consequently forgery. So what I feel that if this market could run more efficiently with a lot of informations available to common man or the consumers who are going to buy it, we don't need to, we should not depend on an expert's opinion, what they're trying to say, how they're evaluating a value of an artwork. Rather, I independently have some objective knowledge and information about this artwork. Then as a consumer, no matter if I'm a young buyer or a veteran one, I will be able to decide for my choice. And that I mean, when we were talking about in the beginning about that chip, this was a very interesting aspect that I could find there, that at one place we can find all the objective information about one artwork, about the artist, about its provenance, about a lot of things. So that might really help.
So now the questions for our professional artist, Pranjit. What do you feel about royalties and authentication system laws?
Well, I would like to say it's a great, actually, I mean, ideas regarding to identifying the original art. But I feel there is a lacking which I would like to actually go through it first. As I'm working in a design spectrum, I feel there's a huge difference between the visual art and then the design, which I like to actually place these things. They know about the marketing and then the management, which should be the particular parts, which should be the very, ideal part. I mean, throughout the visual art, actually, like a curriculum, in the context of India, I am actually telling, I don't have any idea about other country. In the context of Indian academic spectrum of the visual art, we don't have that sort of like management and then the marketing things, so that artists can give their actual effort, but they can't actually decide the right values. See, the royalties are something, Rahul, I would like to say, which actually decide by the artist, and it has to be the part of their academic values.
Next up is a question for our master artist, and which I have found that Stella is struggling with this for quite a couple of years. That Stella, all these years of being an artist, has your artwork ever been copied? I'm sure that copied. Please share your experience with us. We really want to hear about that.
Yes, that is a problem, and I think many of us do have it. Actually, one of my worst cases was that one of my students repainted one of my paintings from the internet and entered it into a pretty good regional show, and received first award. She immediately contacted me, apologized, and told me that she just didn't have any other painting to enter, and she liked the painting, and she entered it. She never thought she will get an award. And she said, I will go to the jury and I will tell them, and she said, I will return the award. After a while, she came to me, and that was the most upsetting part. I was not upset at her. I understood. She contacted me immediately. It was an honorable thing to do. But she comes back and she said, oh, I went to the jury and they said, no problem, that's been done always. I was so upset that I gave it to the jury. I contacted the chairman, and I just couldn't believe it, what he told me. He said, it's been done forever, and that is not a big problem. Everybody does it. I said, no, that is a big problem. Of course, later they apologized and so on. But for me, the question is not that much. Yes, forgery has always been there since the dark ages. And people, and this chairman, actually his problem was that he said, oh, the apprentices painted from the masters. Of course they did, but they at the back of the painting or down where the signature is, they put from so-and-so painting. And there is a big time movie, you have to watch it coming, American movie about the greatest forger in the world, a Dutchman during the Second War, who painted and nobody could recognize him. He was amazing. So forgeries has always been done. For me, always the question is, how do you sleep on that when you steal a painting of somebody? That is for me a manner of dignity. And I don't believe that will ever stop, but we have to address the issue, and we have to be true to ourselves. I really don't mind anybody taking my painting. I took it even as an honor. Obviously, she liked my painting, and I don't have any problem. And people ask me, could they paint the painting? Of course, paint it, because this way you learn to find out what the artist really did. But don't sell it. Keep it for yourself, But what should I say? It's always been there. And the other thing bothers me way more these days than the forgery. The forgers, they're real artists, and darn, they're good. So they will always do it, because there are a lot of people who pay big time money to have a Rembrandt or a Van Gogh on their wall, and they pay to those forgers. Actually, it's not the forger's problem, it's these people who buy the forgery and they know it's a forgery. But the biggest problem for me these days is people who paint like other people. I mean, I've seen so many Alvaros, I've seen so many Frank Webbs. Every time I jury a show or I go to exhibit, I say, oh, another Alvaro, another Alvaro. Why do we do this? Why couldn't we be ourselves? And like Antara says, this is the authenticity. This is you. This painting comes from the deep of your emotion. Why couldn't we be ourselves? Why do we want to be somebody else? So this is for me even bigger problem than the forgery.
Oh, so wonderful. I understand that a lot of perspective has come in this point that about forgery, authentication, royalties. But I have another perspective when I feel like to see, okay, there are many Alvarez, many Rembrandt. And I found like sometimes it is my perspective and I always oppose that forgery. And this is not this is a malpractice. It is very universal. But in that case also, sometimes what happens when we start our journey as an artist, uh, from a non-art background, they basically follow artists. They follow master artists. They go to their workshops. They attend their classes online. They buy their books, and they even buy their materials. They somehow try to copy their traits, that their character as a human being as well. So some traits get transformed from the master artist to student artist because of it is a lot of affection, lot of love, and warmness is there. So what actually happened unconsciously, the traits transfers. So when they touch the brush even, when they create their palette even, it by default it comes. Sometimes they are not try to push in, but they by default that comes in. So it is not a kind of escapist kind of reason that I am trying to give and try to support. Not at all. Forgery is forgery and it is a malpractice. When you are copying someone, you need to give credit or you need to mention your masters and your source name. That is very important. And please avoid not to sell those artwork. That would be better for everyone. That is a mutual respect that we need to create and that kind of awareness we need to create in our industry.
Rahul, you're absolutely right. And when I teach and when you teach what you know and what you can. You cannot teach what somebody else does.
Exactly.
And the student tries to do what you explain, tries to understand. And yes, they will follow, they will copy you. But then some way along the way, they have to find themselves and go on their own. I'm talking about professional artists who follow other and paint like other people. I'm not talking about
exactly.
Beginners do this and we all did it, and it's right to do it.
It's right to do that. Yes.
We are influenced. True. But that influence you take from many people and then you establish yourself. But when you are an established artist and continue copying somebody else and paint like somebody else, that is what I'm talking about.
You lost your style, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, all of you, for this wonderful perspective on art forgery and authentication.